Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'm going through the close 7:30 game. The other one wasn't so close, but again, another game that I don't think I actually watched any of it. I'm just going off the stats and what I sort of was thinking pre-game, especially with the Nick Newman and why. So that was, I think, in general, a really good decision. And the thoughts behind it sort of link up exactly. I just want to quickly here grab not the CBAs, but the kick-outs for that, as I think it also lines up to what I was saying. I don't think the kick-ins had too much of an effect on his score, but I do want to just grab them up quickly here. He had 5, not the worst, but still only like 9, we'll say 9 points that he gained off of having those extra kick-outs. So extra 9 points, it wasn't really going to, a 136 instead of a 145 for Newman isn't really going to make it a really good pick because he had an increase kick-ins over what was expected. But anyway, let's just jump into the video here and see what I'm talking about. Hoskin Elliott, 102, 20, 28, 40, 14. 2 goals, 20 touches, 10 marks. A pretty good game from him. Darcy Cameron, 15 touches, 6 marks, 2 tackles. And he's an interesting one. I also do want to just check this because I have been thinking, do I want to get, how am I going to sort out my ruck situation? And I'll just want to quickly check here, go down here, go to ruck contest, and I want to go to Collingwood because I think this is an interesting watch with Mason Cox back. How is that influencing it? Doesn't really look to be influencing it too much, to be honest with you. It seems like he's still getting a majority, and so that doesn't seem to be influencing it too much. And I just want to check their run home. They have Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne. That is a horrific ruck run home. I feel like, it just seems to me that's a horrific ruck run. With Brodie Grundy seems restrictive. You got Brisbane, who were restrictive, and then you got Max Gawn in the final round with them trying to most likely battle for a top 8 spot, both of them, so that could be an interesting battle there, especially if Max has more time to recover and get over all of the injuries or whatever, whether they just compile and make him sort of shut down. Howe, 95, Pendles, 94, Nick Dacos, 92, 31, 19, 27, 15, had 28 touches, 6 tackles, 3 free kicks against and 1 goal 1. So the 3 free kicks against really killed off his, killed him off from getting a ton. And he just didn't, he's really lost that marking ability, which is a little bit annoying in the last couple of weeks, or at least this season, I should say, where his marking, I believe, is well down on what it was last year. I know that he was playing more halfback last year, but marking is now down to an average of 2.6 this year as a midfielder, and that is below average, and tackles are at 3.9. So much like we said with Sam Walsh, he very much relies on his disposal work to get him the points, and this is why it is so super dangerous with Dacos, because 1 week you're going to look like a genius when he goes off, and the next week you're going to look so dumb when he doesn't. So because his scoring almost relies on his non-disposal work, how he scores. I don't know if you could go back and look at it exactly. Let's actually just quickly go to this screen. I want to bring up Nick Dacos. We'll go to Stats Center here just to hide everything else so I don't show anything. And we go to match stats here, then I'll bring it back up here. And you'll see here, if we just make this a little bit bigger, 34, 37, 22, 30, 26, 30, 27, 32, 36, 41, 35, 32, 15 disposal effort here, but that was an injury game. 29, 32, 31, 32, 24, 42, 20, 28. So looking at his games, you can really see low score here, only 3 non-disposal acts, and we know that marker is roughly 8 here, 6 here, 6. Let's go back here, 2 here. Let's go back to his next non-ton game, 6. And then next non-ton game, 7, and then this 3, and then look at his big games, 8, 7. I mean a 6 here, and he creeped over. A 9 here, 12 here, a 6, and he creeped over mostly because he smashed his disposals. An 11 here, a 5 here with 32 touches, 2 goals as well. You got to factor those in as well for the big ones. I mean, he got to a 115 here on 6 and no goals, which is quite a good effort. And then here 7, but 2 goals included there. 5 here, quite surprising. Is that 5? Yeah, 5 there. Quite surprising, but I guess the increased kicks help. And then an 8 here. So generally, it seems like his work relies on him hitting those non-disposal counters, especially with the goals included. So yeah, and the 3 free kicks against also doesn't help a lot as well. Hill, Crisp again, I think he's gone, just his role just catapulted out. I wish I'd probably traded him a little bit early, but then again, I got the 112 and then I had to sit through the 69. So a 181 across 2 weeks is a 90, which isn't the worst for a guy that was sort of playing an M8 sort of role. Going through here, no one else here that I really am looking at and going, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, Collingwood, I don't really like their future prospects at the moment, or at least second year prospects. I think obviously they'll have some rookies with, I would expect to see some retirements or potentially some guys that just aren't up to, I guess, standard. That get replaced by draftees. I think you would expect 1 or 2. But then again, Collingwood don't really have the selections because they traded out with Fremantle for their first round pick, and then they also swapped with Hawthorn, I believe, their second, or it could be also their third. So maybe they don't actually get the talent, but then again, there's also this draft is very deep. So I do still think Collingwood will have a rookie. I just don't know whether that will be a rookie in necessarily the best role, because I still think you'll have Pendles, Dacos, DeGoey, and some other guys and Crisp in the midfield before they actually put a midfielder there. But Allen could actually be a watch there if they want to keep Crisp out of the midfield and move him there. I think Newman, a guy that I touted, and yeah, he just smashed it. Absolutely smashed it. The numbers were there. Everything suggested that he was going to go nuts. Yes, I did say that. I did say that he was going to be obviously a good pick, but I was in the back of my head. I was a little bit more worried about. I think I stated this a couple of times about more so the games after, the 3 games after. But now that I think he's put up a 145, you can almost justify that hole for the 3 weeks after, because now he's going to not only have that huge game, but now he's if he just scores 100 now from here on out, 100, then he scored 445 points across 4 games. That's an average of 111 and a bit. Say Jordan Clark goes 90s, that's like a gap of 84 points created by just Nick Newman doing this. And we also showed, or at least I showed, that he had, it didn't really rely on kick-ins. And I said in the intro that he did have more kick-ins, where you can show that here. He did have more kick-ins, 5 instead of 2, 4, 3, like that suggests that run there is 8, 11 and 4. So he was roughly getting 2 and a bit, maybe 3 a game, and he got 5. So maybe a good, say, we'll give it to him 3 extra kick-ins, which is 9 points. But something I really did see out of him was, and then stats back that up, is that he actually gets a lot of points from the kick-in chains in general. So he might only take 2 or 3 kick-ins in a game, but he actually generates, he's almost the first guy that gets kicked to at least once or twice in a game. So he gets a mark or an extra disposal there, here or there, and he picks up 12 points just from others kicking it to him from kick-ins. So I think that was one of the big justifications there. And I do actually like that he was taking a more, out of 7, 12, he took 5 out of 12, which is around 40%, which is not a majority, but a higher percentage than any of the other 2 in Mitch McGovern and Sard. Whether that just be the chance that they were off the field at the time, I don't exactly know. But I also like his high play-on percentage, which is a good thing. And he does have, I'll bring it up here, but I think he doesn't have it's not necessarily the worst run. It's not necessarily the best run. I just think it's probably now neutral, I would say. Let's actually just go to AFL.com, and then we, and then we go to season long DV. and then Desi kicker, and then you will see, I'm pretty sure his run isn't the best, but it's, yeah, +1, give or take. If we go here, just stretching along, he does have a really good matchup in Hawthorn. West Coast is an iffy matchup at the moment, but if we go to, if we just duplicate this, because I want to keep that slide there, then I will go to here. I will go to defense first position. I want to just check in case there are outliers, because we know that there are outliers in the in positional data, plus also injuries can affect it. West Coast Eagles are the worst for Desi kickers in general. Let's just go here. Is there an injury? Joel Jeffrey with a 21, a -44. I just think that's a massive outlier. Luke Ryan has been shocking the last couple of weeks. Dane Zorko an 85, so I think there is merit to that. Oh, and Connor McKenna came on as a sub. So, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, 13 divided by... So, I reckon they're actually not a -11. I think they're a minus about 6. I think there was just... Was Joel Jeffrey sub in this game? Let me just check if Joel Jeffrey was sub. Sub out of it on a 21. I think there is some where you can say that he was going to score more with that. So I don't think that's necessarily too reliant, as well as the fact that Connor McKenna came on for a 35, I believe. I'm pretty sure he was sub in this game, this 35. Let me just double check that. The 35, was he actually not sub? Wow, he wasn't sub for that 35. Wow, that's actually surprising. So maybe it isn't as good as what I initially actually thought, or as bad as I initially thought. So it's, yeah, we'll see. We'll see in the next week how that develops. Gold Coast is actually one of the better matchups to have. Gold Coast, Western Bulldogs, Collingwood. So who actually has that? Gold Coast in itself is still somehow a really positive matchup, even though, I'm not too worried about it though, because Nick Newman has shown that he can score really, really well. And so, yeah, I would still almost be tempted to jump on him, even if you hadn't jumped on him beforehand. I think there might be a little bit of I wouldn't necessarily jump on him for a midfielder, but I definitely maybe jump on him for Luke Ryan, just given that I think Luke Ryan didn't have the best game again this weekend, but I'd need to double check that. Sam Walsh with a 130 was absolutely huge as well. I did tout him. It's going pretty well. I did tout Paddy Cripps is going pretty well. Elijah Holland, a 91. He just got 21 touches, 6 marks, and 2 goals. And Saad did an all right marker as a designated halfback. And Mitch McGovern as well went above his marker. Ollie Hollands did all right, especially on the transition. And then Charlie Curnow, surprise one here, 25-2, 19-5, 2 behinds. First time he's been goalless in like 2.5 years. And yeah, they just didn't do the greatest, Charlie Curnow, and he sort of put up his worst performance in a couple of weeks, sort of a month of footy. And that's pretty much it for Carlton. Not much more to talk about. Chera, he's going to be an interesting one next year because he's just tanking in price. He's having bad game after bad game. Does he get back into that midfield? Because we've seen early on in the year he can put up tons, but he's had 3 weeks now where he's gone 52, 51, and 34, which has really tanked his average for next year. But anyway, that is the video. If you did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and you'll see me in the next video. Bye, guys.